Some families pack up for rest and relaxation, others never make it home. The Sierra Nevada mountains, rugged, beautiful, and in 1981, the site of one of California's most chilling mysteries. Glenna Sue Sharp, a single mother of 5, moved her family to Keddie, California, hoping for a fresh start in Cabin 28. On April 12th, Sue's daughter Sheila returned home to a nightmare. Her mother, brother Johnny, and his friend Dana Wingate brutally murdered. The victims were bound, bludgeoned, and stabbed. The walls were spattered with blood. It was a slaughterhouse. 3 younger children and a friend were found alive, apparently having slept through the horror. But Sue's 12-year-old daughter, Tina, was missing. The investigation was botched from the start. Evidence mishandled, leads lost, and the small-town police overwhelmed. Suspicions fell on neighbors Martin Smart and Beau Bubaid, but nothing stuck. The case went cold. 3 years later, Tina's remains were found 30 miles away. The mystery only deepened. Decades passed. The surviving children grew up haunted, the case files gathered dust, and Cabin 28 became a local legend. In recent years, new investigators uncovered a hammer matching the murder weapon and a chilling letter from Smart. "I've paid the price for your love, and now I've bought it with 4 people's lives." But with the suspects dead, justice remains elusive. The Keddie murders are a stark reminder. Even in the most peaceful places, evil can find you. The cabin was demolished, but the memory lingers. A family search for sanctuary ending in terror. The surviving Sharps live with unanswered questions. What happened to Tina? How did the killer slip away? And what did the children in the next room really hear? The use of medical tape, the calculated violence, it wasn't random. It was personal, and it was planned. Keddie's sense of safety was shattered. Neighbors locked doors, trust evaporated, and the mountain town's innocence was lost. Tina's abduction added a layer of cruelty almost too much to bear. Her fate, a blank space in the story. The legacy is one of frustration, a failure of law enforcement, a failure to bring justice. The ghosts of Keddie still cry out for answers. A family getaway turned into a nightmare. The Sharp story is a warning. Sometimes the monsters are closer than you think. The pines still whisper their secrets, and the case remains one of California's most haunting unsolved crimes. For the survivors, the nightmare never truly ended. Evil can find you, even in paradise. Jennifer and Sarah Hart seem to have it all: a progressive family, 6 adopted children, and a social media feed full of smiles. But behind the perfect photos was a nightmare. The Harts moved from state to state, always one step ahead of Child Protective Services. Reports of abuse and neglect followed them. Neighbors saw children who were thin, hungry, and afraid. In Minnesota, a child told a teacher, "Mommy hits me." In Oregon, friends reported starvation and control. Each time the Harts slipped away. In Washington, neighbor Bruce DeKalb saw Devante begging for food. The children were punished, starved, and isolated. Multiple calls to CPS went nowhere. Then, in March 2018, a social worker knocked. No answer. The family had vanished. Days later, their SUV was found at the bottom of a cliff in Mendocino County, California. Jennifer and Sarah and 3 children were dead. 3 more were missing. At first, it seemed a tragic accident while on a family vacation, but there were no skid marks. The car had accelerated off the cliff. Jennifer was drunk. The children had been drugged. It was a murder-suicide. Jennifer Hart drove her family to their deaths rather than face exposure. The bodies of Sierra and Hannah were later found. Devante was never recovered. The Hart case is a damning indictment of a system that failed at every turn. The Hart social media was a lie, a mask for cruelty and control. The viral photo of Devante hugging a police officer became a symbol of hope. Now, it's a symbol of tragedy. The children were props in a performance, prisoners in their own home. The cliffs of Mendocino are now a place of sorrow, a family's fantasy shattered on the rocks below. The legacy is one of deception and betrayal. 6 children, failed by every adult and every system meant to protect them. The final drive was not a vacation, but a death march. The Harts exploited the system's weaknesses and the world's willingness to believe a beautiful story. Behind the filters and hashtags, there was only pain. The Hart family's story is a warning. What you see online is not always the truth. Sometimes the greatest danger is the one you trust most, and sometimes the monsters are the ones who smile for the camera. Jonathan Gerrish, Ellen Chung, their baby Miju, and their dog Oski set out for a day hike in the Sierra National Forest, a family adventure under the August sun. They were experienced hikers, but the Heights Cove Trail was unforgiving, steep, exposed, and scorching hot. When they didn't return, a search began. The next day, rescuers found the entire family dead on the trail. No signs of violence, no struggle. Investigators were baffled. No trauma, no animal attack, no poison. The scene was a mystery. Theories swirled: toxic algae, poisonous gas from old mines, even foul play, but nothing fit. Autopsies revealed the truth: hyperthermia and dehydration. The family had run out of water in 109-degree heat. Their final text, never sent, "Can you help us? On Savage Lundy Trail, no water or is overheating with baby." They were caught in Devil's Gulch, miles from help, the sun relentless. The Gerrish Chung family were not careless, they simply underestimated the trail and the heat. Their story is a stark reminder nature is indifferent, and even the prepared can fall victim to its extremes. There was no villain here, just a perfect storm of deadly conditions. The trail is now a place of remembrance, a warning to all who venture into the wild. The family's final moments were desperate, a father with his child, a mother pushing for help. Their tragedy is a lesson: respect the wilderness, carry more water than you think you'll need, and know when to turn back. Sometimes the deadliest foe is the environment itself. The absence of a human monster makes this story even more haunting. A perfect day turned into a perfect storm. A family outing became a fight for survival they could not win. The image of the family found together is one of profound sadness. The Gerrish Chung story is a public service announcement written in tragedy. The wild is beautiful, but it demands respect. Their story is a lesson paid for in the highest price. The Sharps, the Harts, the Gerrish Chung family. They left for peace, for time together, for a break from the world. What they found was something no family should ever face: a cabin, a drive, a hike, settings for memories turned into crime scenes and final resting places. These stories remind us evil can wear a familiar face, and sometimes the most formidable foe is nature itself. Hold your loved ones close, be vigilant, and never take safety for granted, especially far from home. For some, the story ends abruptly. The photos become evidence, and the only return is in a casket, or not at all. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more true stories that should have ended differently. And remember, even the safest trip can become your final destination.